What is wrong with the natural process of getting older? And why is it something we want to avoid? It's treated like a disease, where it is an absolutely natural process.
Many of us who are getting older have experienced certain attitudes, sort of societal attitudes. They're not often stated out loud, but we sort of get them, that old people are disposable, that old people don't know as much, they're not as pretty, they're not as smart, they're not as good, they're not as useful. Like, let's just put them aside someplace so we don't have to think about them too much, because it's a lot of uncomfortable to think about aging.
I just feel that the society isn't giving us the messages that are most helpful for people to age successfully.
We, for some reason, don't value the aged in this country. In part because we haven't valued humans and helped them develop to their full capacity. We discard them as if they're nothing.
You start thinking of yourself as not good enough, past your prime, kind of over the hill. Well, you start acting that way. You start believing that way about yourself. You start not taking care of yourself because, well, you know, I'm kind of worthless. Why should I take care of myself? These are dangerous and harmful attitudes for a person to believe about themselves.
There are days in which we're angry, there are days in which we're happy, there are days in which we're sad, and even more deeply, there are some positions that we can hold that the world is against us, I'm not okay, they don't like me. And those must then, at least in my mind, have some sort of totality, a connection with the whole, that if I'm in this frame of mind, there must be a concomitant physiology that goes along with that. Now, certainly this is true in disease. From my perspective, you know, where you have the problems that you have has something to do with the emotional place from which you operate.
A damn good attitude. I am what you call optimist. I really believe in being optimistic. I believe in being very enthusiastic about life. I believe in, you know, believing in good, having faith in God and yourself. I believe that we all have a mission and purpose. And I think it's very, very important to work to be the best you can be, no matter what profession you have or whatever you're doing in life.
Today, we can look at age 60 as the beginning of the second half of your life. And I really don't think that that second half of your life needs to be the worst half of your life, because with the strategies that are coming online now, we will have the ability to have an enhanced quality of life.
The attitude is gratitude. To be grateful for life, to be in touch with the wonder of life.
My personal feeling is that every time I do something that's healthy, that's enjoyable, this staves off the negative parts of growing old.
Because there's so much negativity that goes with aging, chronological aging. And it's very unhealthy for people because they give up on their goals and dreams because they hit a certain age. And I think that's very limiting. I mean, look at most people in society. They're over the hill physically, and it's sad to see it, because it doesn't need to happen. And everybody has excuses why they're over the hill, and depressed, and sad, and have anxiety attacks. It's enough already.
If you slow down mentally, then you really age your body. Will, if you stop learning or stop studying or enriching your world, then you've aged.
And there is no other priority, really, than to be here and to be healthy and strong and functional. If you don't have that, then you feel less like you're contributing, and life becomes less of a thing to you. You know, no matter how much love you got out there, if you don't feel like you're contributing something, you're not going to feel like a complete person.
Many jobs people are doing now don't have any capacity to tolerate a change in physical ability or mental ability, and so when that stops, they're gone. They have no work anymore.
What is their perception of the aging process? Where are they in that continuum? Is it something that they're embracing, that they're enthusiastic about? Is it something that they're ashamed of? Is it something that they feel ready for? Or is it something that they want to stave off entirely? You know, that's very important, I think, where they are in their perception of their own aging.
I prefer to think of myself as an elder, You know, when I go to the movies, I say I'd like 2 senior tickets because I don't know what elder tickets are. But the word, think of, if you're old, and you can define old as you choose, think of yourself as an elder. The connotations of elder are somebody that knows a lot, that has some wisdom, that has some grace, something to contribute to the community, to the family, to the tribe.
As they get older, sometimes they get more wise, and
Attitude is everything. Never give up. Go around it, go on the top of it, go under it, go through it, but no matter what, never give up.
Yeah, stress, from my personal experience I've had in my life, can change your whole physical, mental, and emotional state in an instant. And it can grab you and shake you like a rag doll, you know, and it can wipe you out. I've been closer to death with stress than I have anything in my life.
So when people are under excessive amounts of stress, their tissues age more quickly. We know that the stress hormone cortisol destroys the mind. One of the objects in aging is to maintain your mental faculties. It's of no value to live to be 100 if you can't remember what you've experienced in your life before. In laboratory experiments, mice are taught to run a maze. Then what the laboratory researchers do is they take the mice and give them injections of cortisol. And when they do that, the mice forget how to run the maze. Cortisol is also associated with making your skin thinner, it ruins your eyes, it creates cataracts, it gives you osteoporosis. So many of the diseases of aging are associated with cortisol.
You're almost fighting a losing battle because stress can kill you.
Stress can only be combated with a good frame of mind and a good immune system. You got to keep that immune system balanced and high to beat that stress. That didn't come in mail, man.
People sit at the computer a lot and they get stressed out. The adrenals start making adrenaline, and there's no mechanism to get rid of adrenaline in the body except exercise. So if you have all this stored up adrenaline in your system from a day that you've worked and been totally stressed, the adrenaline gets stuck in the muscles and then turns into lactic acid and starts to create crystals in the body, you know, and by age 50, you're like, I can't move. My neck hurts, my arm hurts, everything hurts.
I try with everything I know to reduce stress because I know what it does. In other words, things that used to make me mad, I'd say, hey, let it roll, man. It's life. You got to live, you know.
In terms of the stress management, relax. Just go sit in a beautiful park or listen to some music you really love and let it wash over you. You need it. Every day of your life, you got to take that pause and let the stress go away. If music's your thing, it'll work.
It brings so much joy and happiness into my life and physical health into you because the mere fact of singing sustained notes over a period of time, like an hour, it opens the lungs. The lungs go back and forth, and it's a joyous way of getting your internal breathing exercise. And it's just a whole vibrational thing. Singing, to me, music in general, but singing in particular, is a wonderful thing. And it's just great. I mean, it makes everything strong.
sometimes you get grumpy.
For those of you regular human beings that live on this planet, I just want you to know it's important to have a good sense of humor. You know, you can't take life too seriously.
You lose your sense of humor, your normal daily activities, and not fun to be around, sort of.
Because if you're too serious, you know, you can't have much joy. And people have been cured of cancer by just laughing. by getting funny movies, by reading funny books, by being able to read jokes. I mean, it sounds really dumb, but it works. It works. We're into anything that works.
Even if you don't have a good sense of humor, find somebody who does. Or just laugh at yourself.
I've never been reluctant to tell anyone how old I was. And I said, you know, I'll tell anybody how old I am. It's my weight I'm sensitive about. So.
There's been studies done that children laugh on an average of over 100 times a day. As those children become adults, it decreases down to 15 or 20 times a day, if that. We've got to go back and find our child and laugh. Laugh like we used to. If you're not laughing, you're just growing older.